Hello, everyone. Before we go to our next theory, there is a question I would like you to think about. If you're a man, I'd like you to think that you have a wife, and if you are a woman, I'd like you to think that you have a husband. Now, here's the question. You have a spouse, and your spouse is dying from a particular disease. Now, there is a drug that can cure your spouse, but then it is very expensive. You are unable to afford the drug. And despite trying to negotiate the pharmacist, you are still unable to obtain it. Desperate, you are now faced with a decision. Should you steal the drug to save your spouse, even though it is illegal? Are you going to do it? Or what are you going to do? Let me introduce to you Lawrence Kohlberg's Six Stages of Moral Development. Sigmund Freud inspired Erik Erikson. Erik Erikson influenced Jean Piaget, and this time Jean Piaget inspired Lawrence Kohlberg. Lawrence Kohlberg interviewed young boys who were from early childhood to late adolescence. He asked questions called the moral dilemmas, just like Heinz' dilemma, the one that I asked you earlier. The dilemma is structured to explore the reasoning behind Heinz's decision. Kohlberg wanted to examine the stages of moral reasoning by asking individuals to reflect on whether Heinz should steal the drug and why or why not. The result of the interview showed a pattern of responses suggesting a progression in moral reasoning, hence the birth of six stages of moral development. So, moral development was mainly concerned with justice, and I'd like to emphasize on that. And its development continued throughout the lifespan. The stages were divided into three levels, and each level has two stages, which has their own social orientation. Now, here are the three levels and six stages of moral development. The very first level is the pre conventional level. Typically, this is from ages 4 to 10. At this level, moral reasoning is based on the direct consequences of actions. People at this level tend to focus on avoiding punishment or gaining rewards. There is a little understanding of social rules or laws as intrinsic to justice. Now, stage one, obedience and punishment orientation. The focus here is on obedience to authority. Moral decisions are based on the fear of punishment. Example, a child might not take a cookie because he is afraid of being punished by his parents rather than understanding it might be wrong to steal. Let me introduce stage two, which is self interest orientation. This is individualism and exchange. Moral decisions are based on self interest and the idea of reciprocal benefit. People at this stage think in terms of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Actions are judged based on whether they result in rewards or personal gains. Example, a child might help someone with the expectation of receiving something in return, like a favor or a reward. Were you like this when you were a child? Level 2, conventional level, and this is typically from ages 10 to 16. At this level, individuals start to internalize societal norms and rules. Moral reasoning here is guided by a desire to fit in, uphold laws, and maintain social order. We have here stage three, the interpersonal accord and conformity. So, good boy, good girl orientation. Moral decisions here are based on seeking approval and maintaining good relationships with others. A teenager might decide not to cheat on a test because they want to be seen as a good student by their teachers and peers. Stage 4, authority and social order orientation. The moral reasoning here is focused on maintaining law and order and fulfilling one's duties as a member of society. People at this stage understand the importance of rules and laws in maintaining a functional society. They believe that laws should be followed because they maintain order. Example, a person may decide to pay taxes because it is their civic duty to contribute to society and follow the law. Third level, the post conventional level, and this is typically beginning in late adolescence or adulthood, but not everyone reaches this level. At this level, moral reasoning is based on abstract principles and a deeper understanding of justice, human rights, and universal ethical principles. People at this level may challenge established laws or norms when they believe they are unjust. Let me introduce stage 5, social contract, and individual rights. Moral decisions are now based on the idea of social contracts and the belief that laws should reflect the will of the majority, but also protect the rights of individuals. People at this stage recognize that rules and laws should be based on principles of fairness, justice, and human rights. They are open to changing laws if they do not serve the common good. Example: a person might support civil rights movements or advocate for changes in laws that they believe are unjust, like laws that discriminate against certain groups. Now let's go to stage six, the universal principles. Principled conscience. The moral reasoning here is based on abstract, ethical principles such as justice, equality, and respect for human dignity. People at this stage are guided by deep sense of moral duty and the belief that the moral principles apply universally regardless of laws or social conventions. Example: a person at this stage might engage in civil disobedience, example, protesting against an unjust law, because they believe it is the right thing to do even if it means breaking the law. There you go, future educators, the stages of moral development to which Kohlberg emphasized that individuals go through all these stages in progression because it is linear and hierarchical. Going back to Heinz, what was the basis of your judgment? Was it political? Moral? According to Kohlberg, moral decision is not just based on the laws and rules of the society, but on one's conscience.